No, that's what he gives to us.
I call to order the Ascension Parish Council meeting for Thursday, March 6th. Everyone please stand for the prayer. Dear Lord, as we gather tonight, it is with a heavy heart. We remember those who passed away very recently in our community. This morning, Ms. Sherry Thompson, who was killed in a wreck on Highway 42. Lord, we pray for her soul and for her family. We also pray for the family members and for the souls of some former parish employees, Mr. Clarence Speed and Mr. Buck Bourgeois, who both work for the parish, and also a local businessman, Mr. Eddie LeBlanc. Lord, we just ask as we get through this difficult winter season, we ask your grace and blessings and prayers that this hurricane season and the weather is minimal and give folks time to recuperate and recover from this rough winter. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. The pledge tonight is being led by Mr. Tom Carcian, our ACUD 1 chair. Tom?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Madam Secretary. All members present with the exception of Councilman Johnson and Turner, who are, and Joseph, and I believe are all on their way. Chair's additions, I have none. Public comment sign-in period reminder. If you wish to speak, please fill out a card with the Secretary. You'll have 3 minutes. Presentations. First we have, is Mr. Hambrick here? Stuck in that bridge traffic too, but we had someone about, does anybody else here to speak on behalf of the River Road African Museum fundraiser that's going on? So, okay, I know a little bit about it. There was an email that was sent about it, and I can certainly forward it on, but for anyone interested, there's a fundraiser called Ovation that's happening at the Shaw Center I believe it's next weekend, and certainly appreciate support for that. And if Mr. Hambrick comes in the next little bit, we can come back. Proclamation for Red Cross in Ascension Parish, Mr. President.
I'm going to call on Ms. Monique Edwards to come up, please, and Ms. Gwen Hilliard. Gwen's not here. Anyway, every year we do a proclamation for the American Red Cross, and Monique is a local chapter volunteer here, and she also has a group of ladies here from the sorority, and that also work very closely with the Red Cross. So we want to recognize Monique. I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation, let her say a few words, and bring up her fellow volunteers. Thank you. Proclamation to proclaim March as American Red Cross Month in Ascension Parish. Whereas March is American Red Cross Month, where we recognize and thank our everyday heroes who reach out to help their neighbors when they are in need, and whereas American Red Cross heroes are on the front lines daily as they volunteer their time, give blood, take life-saving courses, or provide financial donations to help those in need. And whereas we would like to remember our heroes here in Ascension Parish who give help to people in need and work tirelessly in times of disaster, including providing round-the-clock support to veterans and their families. And whereas across the country and around the world, the American Red Cross responded to victims of hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, wildfires, typhoons, and other tragic events, including the bombings at the Boston Marathon. And whereas we dedicate the month of March to all those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. Whereas our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on donations of time, money, and blood to fulfill its humanitarian mission. Now therefore it be proclaimed, I, Tommy Martin, as President of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, to hear and to proclaim March 2014 as American Red Cross Month in Ascension Parish, and urge and encourage our citizens to support this organization and its noble humanitarian mission. Monique, I just want to say that we appreciate everything the Red Cross does here in Ascension Parish. Been able to work side by side with some of the volunteers and people from the American Red Cross, especially during Gustav, and they did a wonderful job, not only on the East Bank, but the West Bank and the entire parish. So again, on behalf of myself and I'm sure the council, we want to thank all of you volunteers. So.
Thank you. Mr. President and members of the council, my name is Monique Edwards. I am a board member for the Louisiana Capital Area region of the Red Cross, which includes Ascension, St. James, Assumption Parish, and just as a matter of background, I grew up in St. James Parish on the West Bank, and I attended and graduated from Ascension Catholic in May of 1978. It is our pleasure to be here. The Red Cross, nobody really knows about us until disaster happens, but we're here serving on the board and being able to represent the interests of not only the people in Baton Rouge, but in St. James and Ascension. And I always brag that we kind of know how to do things a little different because we bring the heart and soul, which is the river region. Along with one of the things that the Red Cross is doing, we are partnering with the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is the oldest black Greek letter sorority in the world, and members of the organization are here with me because the South Louisiana region of the American Red Cross lines up with the southern cluster for Alpha Kappa Alpha, and just as part of our outreach, because our members have benefited from the Red Cross and the Red Cross benefits from the volunteers that we bring forward. So I'd like for them to stand, and three of the ladies here are Ascension Parish residents. And would you introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Marianne Edwards, and I'm Monique's mother, and I'm from St. James, so I'm only visiting. But I do everything with Ascension people.
I'm Angelina Carmody, and I'm from Donaldsonville, and I will do anything I can to assist.
I'm Audrey Preston. I live here in Donaldsonville.
Worked in Sorrento, but I've been over here about 56 years.
Wow.
I'm from North Louisiana, but I've been here that long.
And this is a flag for you to fly for the parish over in that wonderful place where you fly the flags. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilman Kluwat.
Yeah, so I just want to let everybody know, you know, they see the Red Cross would help during the flood and hurricanes and things like that, but the Red Cross far reaches out to families in many different ways, and having a lot of military in my family, I do know that the Red Cross is the first line of contact if you have a soldier or a family member overseas that needs to come back. And you guys do a great job of that, and me personally, we had to do that one time. And I thank you guys very much for your duty and for your service.
And we do a lot of training, especially with CPR. And one of the biggest challenges we've had with the weather, the fires. People don't realize that the first responders call the Red Cross, and we go out. And if you ever want to canvass an event in Ascension Parish for fire safety, please let us know, because there are some funds that we can access to get smoke detectors in the homes of your residents, and to just give them some education on fire safety.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I don't have a lot, but I just want to say that we got back from Washington yesterday, and I think we had a very successful trip. While we were there, they did pass the FEMA insurance bill, and a couple of our councilmen got to sit in the gallery, Brian and Kent, and you know, it was good. We discussed the possibility of the Tiger Grant, and we did get a commitment from each one of our representatives and senators that they would certainly support that and certainly work hard and write letters of support and also visit with the Secretary of Transportation. So I do feel very good about that. And now, once we select a team to get out and get it shovel ready, I think we'll be ahead of the game, and hopefully we can get this project to Ascension Parish to help us do that. And you know, we talked about other things also with the drainage and things and flood insurance, which, as I said, passed the day we were there. So, Brian, I Kent want to say a few words. I'd be happy to allow them. And that's all I have. But I just want to thank all of you guys. And just like I said, it was a cold trip, but I think it was very successful.
Very good. Councilman Schaefer?
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, first thing, I do want to offer, and we forgot to say this earlier, our condolences to Ms. Pio Gotro and their family, all the Gotro family here, is a prominent family in Donaldsonville. We want to wish them all the best after a long illness. So we like to say, you know, give our condolences to them. But also, it was very enlightening. I know Councilman Malonzo, Brian, and I had, and Councilman Joseph had gone through with to all of the legislative meetings, and the administration had did a wonderful job this year presenting our case for bringing some money back to the parish. And so I want to congratulate everything. It was pretty obvious that we were well received, well prepared, and things were transmitted. And so hopefully we can get some of our money back, you know, and that was a good thing. But we did witness, Brian and I witnessed the passage of, in the House, of the National Flood Insurance Program. And just to let everybody know, that was is one of the good things that we've witnessed in Washington. We want to give them a hand for doing something right. There was a lot of cooperation. And to let everyone know, last May, a handful of public officials from the area in South Louisiana went to Washington and started the ball rolling. Did not have any support. It looked pretty bleak to get acceptance from people around the country. The Louisiana delegation was all for us, but they kind of were pretty blunt to us and said, look, we're going to be for it, we're going to push it, we're just not sure if we can get it passed. And they started working, and individual people in this state pushed hard, and the officials pushed hard, and actually turned this country around to finding out what was wrong. People in the rest of the country started getting these bills in from $5,000 to $25,000, $30,000 for flood insurance, and they started realizing that those people in South Louisiana were correct, and this was something that had to be changed. And so there was a great deal of acceptance, and it felt good to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So, you know, just for all the people that you could never name, so many people that worked hard for it, individual people in the state and the country. We had people from Oregon, California, Carolinas, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania that all spoke and gave credit to a lot of people in Louisiana. So our delegation in Congress and Senate did a great job. So all of them did. So everyone can call them up. What they're going to do now, the big deal for it, to let people know, is that they worked hard to word the bill so that they were working with the Senate, even though it was a House bill, so that they were pretty sure the Senate would accept the wording. That was the consensus of all the people that we talked to, so that the Senate can now go and they're pretty sure that they're willing to accept the House version, get that passed, and if they pass it the way it is, they were assured that the president would sign it. So this would be something that could be accomplished in a small amount of time. So now people can get back to being able to buy and sell their houses and keep their houses with flood insurance. So it was a big deal, and it was a good deal. So and it was very interesting to see the process of them going about it. So.
Councilman Kluwat and then Councilman Lawson.
The only other thing I wanted to add to that, Kent and I also had a good conversation after one of the NACO meetings about the flood insurance part, and we were talking to one of the Corps engineers guys that spoke about the fact that we get left out of because of some of the way that they do the standards, and our levees are just a little bit shorter. They were at standards then, and we get left out of a lot of those things, left out of the flood maps, which hurt a lot of our residents, and actually got some contact information with someone who may help us get onto some of the standard setting board, so we can get some of that input in there and maybe help us out in the long run to be able to get those things included in those maps. So I thought that was a huge thing. We definitely need to follow up on that.
Yeah, just a quick mention. Back when we went in May, the first delegation, it was a deer in the headlights look. You guys have heard me tell you that many a times. They had no idea what we were talking about. The people around us didn't understand how it would even affect them. And just so happens they had Hurricane Sandy that happened prior to that FEMA hadn't settled up with the people on the northeast coast, and we just told them, you're the next one. They just had the most information on the Gulf South region, and that delegation of about people from approximately 15 parishes in South Louisiana did make a difference, and I'm proud of everybody that's been doing the work, and especially GNOE and Michael Heck and Caitlin Burney in that game. They did a great job, and they staying on it. And we got a little ways to go, so we got a couple more years to fight this thing down, get it through the Senate, and then get the bill back to where it's something that we can live with, but it's heading in the right direction. And just a quick note, while you guys were representing us in D.C., Dempsey and I wrapped up the State Police Jurors Convention Friday, and one of the shining stars that was there, and Tommy, you was there for that, is our council secretary, Cinnamon Gelshay. She was elected by her peers on the OPAO administrative branch of our government, and so she is now the state secretary. She's holding the state position, and we're very proud of it.
Congrats.
And I believe that's a fast track in 2 years to be the president of that particular organization. So she's going to be there. Main thing that we brought out of that convention for all the folks, I think we had like 5 council members that went there whenever they could make the meetings that they could, 5 or 6, and including the parish president and staff, is that everybody has the same problem we got right now. Everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to do with transportation. DOTD gave a great talk without a lot of money to back it up, and everything that's coming down on federal highway is basically looking at highway safety, not necessarily total congestion. We had a good meeting with the DEQ, and they're well on our side. I think they used our parish as one of their talking points. Public Service Commission had met with some of our council members prior to that conference, so they understand the position of Ascension Parish. So, I think that Ascension Parish has the eyes on it if we can try to keep moving forward in everything that we're trying to do. And the parish president may have a comment on some of that.
I want to say we were meeting with Senator Bitter office that informed us that we had $500,000 in the water bill for sewer. So seems like that's going to make it through. So that's some money that someone applied for back in other administrations, and they hadn't had a water bill in that long span of time. So if this one kind of happens, this go around, which I think it will, we'll reap an extra $500,000 to put toward our sewer program. So that's a good thing. Anyway,
Great.
appreciate it.
I certainly appreciate the updates about the conferences and all the hard work, especially on the flood insurance bill. It seems to be paying off. Thank you, gentlemen. Madam Secretary, please note that Councilman Joseph and Councilman Johnson have arrived as well. We'll move on to item number 7, which is a resolution authorizing Parish President Tommy Martinez to sign and execute all contracts, agreements, and legal documents for the orderly conduct of the parish business. Mr. Barrington.
Yes. What occurred was DOTD requested an updated resolution on the contracts. We'd sent y'all the one in the package, included the one from 2008. We just copied that and sent it over here. Understand from some of the council members they have concerns of it, because since that time we've had some other resolutions. So basically, what the resolution is going to read is, whereas the Ascension Parish Council authorizes various contracts for orderly conduct of parish business, whereas Ascension Parish Council does hereby authorize Parish President Tommy Martinez to sign and execute all contracts, agreements, and legal documents which were previously authorized on January 17, 2008. And as a side note, that's because that's when Tommy took over from Ronnie Hughes and it had already been signed. And whereas the governing authority authorized the parish president to enter into contracts and agreements valued at $50,000 or less without council approval, as long as funds were available as previously authorized in April 16th of 2009. Now therefore, the Ascension Parish Council does hereby authorize Ascension Parish President Tommy Martinez to sign and execute all contracts, agreements, and legal documents as authorized on January 17, 2008 and April 16, 2009, and further also authorizes the Parish President to sign all contracts, agreements, and legal documents in excess of $50,000, subject to approval of the governing authority.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, a motion by Councilman Kuat,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Do you have copies of that, Mr. Chairman?
We ran out. I did it and ran out with it. I called at 4:30, so we put it together.
This is
That's
just a
why I read it.
just a resolution.
Right.
Right.
Do I need to make the motion as amended?
I didn't amend, no. The original one, that was
As
just a
read.
resolution.
As read.
As read.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
Yeah,
Councilman Joseph?
yeah. I know you just read it, but can I get a copy of that?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get it to you. I ran out with them. I got a call at 4:30 that y'all needed to change.
Yeah.
So I changed it and ran out here to be at the meeting.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I looked at this and
That's not the
again,
one. We changed it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I looked at it, and it didn't have any numbers in it or nothing like
Well,
that.
nobody called me before 4:30 this afternoon. I think Todd called me earlier, and then no one called and said, then we said they needed to meet. I got to text, my secretaries leave at 5. And I don't type.
Any other discussion? Any objections? Yeah,
Yeah, not necessarily an objection, because this is sort of surprise, this new information based on what we have here in our packets. And it sounds okay, but I'm a little, I'd like to see it and look at it, and I think I understood what you just said.
Okay,
and
let me
everything.
explain it to you. I can explain
Is
it.
there any chance we could, maybe this afternoon agree that we could defer? Are we in a big hurry to do this? or
Yeah,
can we just-
DOTD needs an updated resolution. They're the ones that sent it to us and said, your resolution is too old. In 2008, Parish Council authorized Tommy Martinez to sign all the contracts Ronnie Hughes had signed.
Right.
Okay, 2009,
So we're just reiterating that?
yes. And in 2009, the Parish Council authorized the Parish President to sign contracts for less than $50,000 or less without council approval.
And that'd be a reiteration as well?
Yes, and now what we're saying is we're authorizing him to sign contracts above $50,000 as long as the Parish Council approves it,
With council.
with council approval.
Which is not a change either.
No, so it's no change, it's got
So with that
DOTD.
added language, it's totally different, I see it now, than what's in front of us.
Right, but DOTD is saying they need a resolution because we can't sign any more contracts. They're saying the original one that was sitting there was the one in 2008, and they said, that's too old.
So then, Mr. Kulat's motion would be amended to include this language that's...
As read.
That's read.
And it's just testified by legal counsel?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much, O'Neill.
Okay. Any other discussion? Any objections? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Barrington, for clearing that item number 8 is the approval of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Parish of Ascension and Ascension Economic Development Corporation to promote, encourage, and develop industry and commerce in the Parish of Ascension, and for the purpose of providing and serving the residents of Ascension Parish with greater economy and efficiency related to economic development of the parish. Mr. Barrington.
This is the same contract y'all had last year. It had just not been submitted in the renewal contracts, so it needed to be done because they've been operating since then without their contract, and finance does not want to give them any money.
Okay, motion by Councilman Dempsey Lambert, second by Councilman Johnson. Any discussion? Councilman Satterley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know, O'Neill, if you want to stay by the mic or use that one there, but so it's a renewal. You said it happened last year. When is the last time that we were asked to approve this?
It's been approved every year. I think it's a one-year
Right,
contract that
but
we do with them.
Seems like we would have, since this contract says it starts in in January 1, 2014,
Right.
goes to December 31st, 2014, like we would have done that sometime in 2013 in anticipation. Otherwise, for the last 2 months, were we paying Mr. Eads and the Economic Development Corp the money monthly, or? I was concerned about the dates again. And it's fine if we are, but I mean.
No, we haven't been. They need their money, that's why.
Oh, is that right, Mr. Eads? See. But this is something that happens, you're saying to me, yearly, and we would
Yes,
have
it's
approved this
renewed
last
yearly.
year and previous to that. So the dates that are in here, where it starts off, the whereases and all at 2008, later is the date of 2012, really the meat of it is 2014, January 1, 2014, December 31st.
Right.
We're going to pay the $300-something in 12 monthly installments of whatever that figure is.
Yeah, but that's how we've been doing it
Is that
from that
my
time.
understanding?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. Is there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. We'll move on to item number 8, the recreation plan, community meetings up to date. Mr. Councilman Turner, Madam Secretary, I forgot to note that he had arrived as well. Thank you. Mr. Turner?
Thank you, Chairman. Basically, I want to just give the dates for the upcoming community meetings, and those dates are March 10th at the Lemon Center in Donsonville, March 12th at the Oak Grove Elementary Cafeteria, March 17th at the Santa Mar Community Center, March 18th at the Lamar Dixon Gym, and March 19th at the Gosmer Community Center. We would like to invite all residents of the parish to attend one of those meetings and provide your input into the recreation plan.
Time on those?
6 to 8 o'clock.
You said March 17th at Santa Mar Park?
Yeah, March 17th in Mr. Kluas District.
I believe this information is on the parish website. I'm looking at it right here as well, on the front page of the parish website. Appreciate that, Mr. Turner. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to item 10, which is an introduction of an ordinance to reroute the existing 15-foot drainage servitude running along the northeast corner of Lot 11 in Eagles Landing subdivision, first filing, which is moved to council via UDC 17-4050 B.2.a.
Motion to introduce.
Motion introduced by Councilman Todd Lambert. Second by Councilman McClure. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Item 11 is an introduction of an ordinance to revoke the existing 15-foot drainage servitude along the western boundary of lots 3 and 4, Ascension Commercial Park subdivision, moved to council via UDC 17-4050 B.2.a.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman
Second.
McClure, second by Councilman Satterley. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Item 12 is an introduction of an ordinance to amend an ordinance to comply with Louisiana RS 18532.1, authorizing the parish governing authorities to reestablish precinct boundaries.
Motion to introduce.
Motion introduced by Councilman Lonsall, second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Item 13 is an ordinance introduction to amend an ordinance to reestablish precinct boundaries within existing Ascension Parish Council districts adopted by the Ascension Parish Council on June 29, 2011. Motion introduced by Councilman Lonsall. Second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Moving to the public hearing section. Item 14, reading of an ordinance to revoke the existing 50-foot drainage servitude located on lots LJG-2-A-3-A-7 and LJG-2-A-3-A-8 of the LJG Land Company LLC property. Mr. Barrington.
Purpose to revoke an existing 50-foot drainage servitude located on lot LJG 2A 3A7 and LJG 2A3A8, Section 50, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, for LJG Land Company LLC. Whereas the petitioners petition the parish council to revoke the dedication of existing 50-foot drainage servitude located on lots LJG 2A3A7 and LJG 2A3A8, Section 50, Township 9 South, Range 3 East. Whereas the Planning Department and Drainage Department have reviewed and researched said request and have no objection to the revocation. Therefore, the Parish of Ascension hereby ordains that it grants approval of the revocation of the existing 50-foot drainage servitude located on lots LJG 2A3A7 and LJG 2A3A8, Section 50, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, more fully described on the plat attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A. Repeal all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict herewith or hereby henceforth repealed. If any provision of the ordinance is held to be invalid, such invalidity shall not affect the provisions herein and shall be given effect as with invalid provisions. And to this end, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared severable. The effective date of this ordinance shall be 15 days after adoption, the matter having been submitted.
Open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing by Councilman Schechter, second by Councilman Satterley. Motion closed by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Satterley.
Move the ordinance.
Motion to move the ordinance by
Second.
Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Satterley. Any discussion? Any objections? Ordinance is adopted.
Councilman, I have a question.
Yes.
In this particular revocation and on some of the revocations that are coming forward, we're actually moving drainage servitudes from one place to the other. I don't know if we're actually revoking a servitude, we're just moving it on the lot. I don't know if we need, if nobody has an objection, I may give an opinion that we do not have to bring these up as a revocation. I think to go through an ordinance just to move from one part of the lot to the other, to me, is not a revocation of an ordinance. We're just not a revocation of a servitude. We're just moving it unless somebody thinks otherwise.
Councilman Cluett.
I think we've had that before, O'Neill, and I don't disagree with you, okay? Because basically, if the landowners, the affected landowners, which are in agreement with it, is basically moving it. Drainage has done a study on it. They agree with it. Planning and zoning has done a study. That you're basically just moving servitude. This is not the first one that we've approved to move, okay?
And I think we could do an ordinance to address moving a drainage servitude rather than revoking servitudes every time we've got to do it, because it's revoked. Once the map is recorded in the courthouse, it's going to show that servitude goes away, but I just wanted to make sure y'all were okay with that. I really don't see the purpose of revoking servitudes when you still have a servitude on the property.
That'd be great. Yeah. You can research that, shoot that opinion out to us and get that ball rolling.
Yeah, change the language.
Thank you. Okay, before we adjourn, wanted to note that Mr. Marshall Courtney, is one of our own, is getting married next week, is it not?
Okay.
Congratulations on that. And I'm sorry, Councilman Cluett, you had something?
Yeah, I think we have Miss Hambrick in the back. We have someone with the African American Museum that just came.
No.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Sergeant Richard Bowe, appreciate you being with us tonight as well. Do we have anything else? If not, we'll have a motion by Mr. Lambert.
Motion adjourned,
All
Mr.
right.
Chairman.
Second. And a second by Mr. Cluett. We are adjourned.